What's going on, people? Welcome to Throwdown, episode 275. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I'm joined by Emilio Lopez.
Once there was an explosion.
Chris Seeley.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
Carlos Romero.
Hey.
Adam Vale.
What up, humans?
Brian Manjoma.
It's getting real crazy out there.
You know, and it's been a while since we've had our friend on. Mr. Richard Bailey Jr. is in the house.
Hey!
Yes. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Yo, what's going on, Rich? How you doing, brother?
Yeah.
Dramatic silence.
For those who don't know, he's the editor-in-chief of the coalition.
Oh,
Yeah, well, people know.
People sometimes don't know. I see a lot of questions right now. They're like, who's that? Who
If
that?
they don't know, they're about to know. So, but anyway, I don't know how the man is doing first before we get to business, bruh.
can someone check the Twitch? I think we went off.
Oh, are we off? Because I'm looking at Twitch. It looks fine on my end.
Yeah, it's working for me.
Oh, okay.
Yo, by the way, actually, for the fans, can you guys see us? Can you hear us, man? What's going on? We may be having some Corona fuel technical difficulties. Hey, I'm talking about the beer. YouTube.
Oh, okay, yeah, all right. Beer.
All right, everybody says it's good. Anyway, okay. Rich, how you been, brother?
Oh, I'm doing very good. It's been quite a bit of things going on in the last couple months.
Yeah, man, you don't cut Richard off while he's talking, man.
I can't hear him.
You can't hear Richard?
Yeah, you
No.
I can hear him.
I hear him.
Manny, can you drop out and come back in?
I hear him.
Yeah,
That's
from my head, he was talking over Richard. That shit was hilarious, man.
I don't know. I couldn't hear a damn.
All right. Anyway, Rich. So definitely a lot going on in your world and everybody's world right now. You know.
Oh yeah. Well, as far as the this virus, Georgia has not declared a state of emergency yet. So I'm curious to see if that changes because everyone is just acting like nothing's going on here. You know, it's still crowded everywhere around the city. So there hasn't really been anything happen.
I heard on Alabama they were saying the same thing. Their government was like, "Oh, everything's cool here. Everything's peachy creamy."
Yeah, that will definitely change because some people, some of the schools are shutting down for a couple of weeks, and some people are out of work, working remotely. So yeah, that's going to start to change. But as for what else is going on, oh yeah, I've had a very interesting last couple of months. I did go to PAX East last month. That actually was a pretty good experience, although it was disappointing because a lot of people.
Right?
Was it what? Jam-packed?
Yeah, jam-packed.
I don't know if I would say that, but since a lot of companies dropped out of PAX, I found it funny that I saw a whole bunch of Last of Us 2 advertisements all over the convention center, and Sony was not there. So yeah, that was very interesting.
To put that shit up then? Who still put that up?
Well, I mean,
the thing is already up there, you know.
Yeah, I mean, when a sponsor, when a place, I'm sure Sony was actually sponsoring that version of PAX, so they probably already queued down all the advertising space all over the place. So yeah, like if you've ever been to E3, like in the inside of the building already before anything has even started, they already have all those advertisements up even before they put the shit on the outside.
Yeah, but I mean, they knew that they weren't going to be there. They backed out a few weeks before, so it's like
the thing is that stuff still stays there, even whatever it is. It's still advertising space, and they're not going to just pull. They're not going to be like, "Hey, pull the banners down. We're not going to be here."
Yeah, and Rich, it's kind of funny, because this kind of pertains to our main topic, how you effectively went to the biggest gaming show of the year because everything else has been canceled.
Yes.
Including the big Mamma Jamma E3, but, that's our main topic. We'll get to that in a bit. And Rich, I need to ask you about the coalition, man. There's been some changes in the last couple of weeks, so let the people know what's going on. And obviously, for people who don't know, Richard Bailey Jr. is the editor-in-chief of the coalition, the site that we still call our home, proudly call our home.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So yes, to go to what you said, yes, there have been some rather significant changes in staff. We have Mr. Adam Vale, who is now a editor on the website. He's been writing reviews for the last couple of months, and we officially made him an editor on the site now. So yes, he does. He's been doing an excellent job. We have Mr. Torrance
twice.
What's that? What?
I said only been written up twice.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Hey, Rich, did you guys run a background check on Adam?
Oh shit!
Whoa! Background
The
check.
past is the past.
You
The
never
past
know
is
what's
the
going
past.
on.
Damn,
Hey, well, I vouch for him. I know him for years.
Yeah, I vouch for him too, man. Yo, I was about to
There
make
you
a
go.
joke, but I can't do that shit on air, man.
Oh shit!
Anyway.
That means that there will be some jokes off air.
Oh, for sure. Oh my god, I can't do it. I want to do it, but I can't. I'll stop. Anyway, Rich, go on, brother.
Oh yes, and of course we also had Mr. Torrance Davis officially join the site.
Cracks me up.
Now, of all people, you should watch out for that dude.
That dude, yeah,
That dude's got a sketchy past.
Yeah, he's into anal beads, man. We got to watch out for that.
Oh yeah, you know.
I'm not making reference into the war zone. He's into that shit, man. Anyway,
I actually remember that story, so yeah, you got to watch out for
I
that.
thought you were gonna say you saw that in some video. I'm like, whoa!
Oh hell no! Oh no! Hell no!
what's going on tonight, man?
No, son.
Throwdown.
If we weren't demonetized, we're probably demonetized right now.
Yo, by the way, I love the fact that I'm asking what's going on, even though I'm the one that brought up the topic. You know what I'm saying? Oh, Rich.
Oh,
Yeah,
what
we
is
got
going
Torrance
on?
Davis. So what's cool about Torrance is like obviously he's quote unquote retired from the industry, but he's still writing for the coalition, man. So here's the thing. We always tell Torrance this shit, like, stop saying you're retiring, motherfucker. You ain't leaving. You stand right here, man. You gotta talk. Oh, you gotta talk about games. As a matter of fact, when I was putting together the last show, I saw Torrance in the, he's putting something together, so he's got something coming.
Oh yeah, he does have something coming because I also saw that in drafts. We have a lot of things coming that
The redesign, the site got redesigned.
the site did get redesigned. But yeah, we actually have a lot of things we've been working on that we just haven't revealed yet. But there is some stuff coming. One thing I do want to say, I will make this clear on this podcast. I know everybody is concerned about everything getting canceled, because of this virus. I would like to say publicly, the co-op is not canceled.
Oh shit.
Gary and I have been specifically making some changes to how we want to approach that podcast. So that's definitely coming back sooner than you think. And I actually have another show that I'm starting, which is also going to be coming to the website.
Hold on, we're getting the exclusive right now, man.
Oh yeah. Because one thing I will say, going to PAX East, I have to admit that when this year started, I was not really, excited about anything in the gaming industry when I kept hearing about delays and all this other stuff. And then I went to PAX East, and just the idea of being in that environment with, there was some games there that I was interested in that I'm actually doing write-ups for. That got me back into just the environment of being with that community of people. So that definitely gave me some ideas as to something that I want to do. So I can't say too much on it yet, but I can say you're going to see this new show before this month is over.
I feel like
That's
like one thing about I know everybody's like saying like about going to conventions and all this other stuff, and you definitely, and I can even echo what Brett has said before in the past. You definitely can't beat going to one of those events and being catching some of that excitement from from what's there.
It's like that for everything. Every live event. When you go to sporting events, it's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, nothing beats being at the game. It's like, I don't watch this sport. Go to a live game with me. And next, they become a fan of the live experience.
I say
That's what happens with me. Like, I'll be honest. Like when I try to watch baseball on TV, it's fucking boring. But when I'm there live, it's fucking fantastic.
It's the energy.
I love it.
You feel it.
That's
You
baseball.
feel
Yeah,
it.
you feel that shit. The
around
fucking
you.
people going nuts. I like
Exactly. And that gets you hyped.
Definitely like a big it's a totally different thing when you're in the crowd. You see people losing their minds, getting drunk, and doing waves and all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. You get
Tony, how many times you been to a concert and you can tell that if the lead singer was to say, "Yo, we're gonna go on riot right now," people would just do it.
right?
Right?
You already know.
They were like, "What? We're gonna go kill you? Do it!"
Yeah. So Rich, going back. So that's pretty dope that you're having all these things come back. By the way, Rich, there's some people in the chat right now who are missing the co-op. They're like, yo, where the co-op at? Where the co-op at? So we got the fans here and asking for it now.
Well, I'm aware of this because one of the fans reached out to Gary, on Twitter directly and asked him privately what's going on with the co-op. So, my answer is the co-op is not dead. It's coming back very soon. The reason why we did not have the show come out is because we felt like there's a lot of topics. There wasn't really too much news happening, especially the start of the year. Now, when all those delays started happening, that's when I would tell Gary, okay, we should address this. But it was a matter of finding the right time to address it. So, but the show is coming back. So I will say that much. So don't worry. We are coming back very, very soon. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah, you guys better not pull a fucking oh my god, I'm forgetting the name of the game. The fucking rip-off game it's coming out PC. Star Citizen. Don't pull a Star Citizen. You don't want to be the Star Citizen of podcasts, you know?
Oh no.
Like you make promises you can't keep and shit.
I agree.
The name of the new show is actually called Throw Up. That's it. So we have to throw and then we
Toss Up. It's called
Toss
Up. It's called Toss Up, you know?
Toss Up.
That shit is crazy.
That's true.
But yeah, Rich, anyway, man, we're glad to have you on this anniversary-ish type of show. We always like to do, special things every 25 episodes. And I'm going to say this now. We were talking to Gary. You and I were talking to Gary. We're going to see if we can get him on episode 300, which is going to be this September, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
That definitely has to happen. He has enough time to plan to make sure he can make that.
Yeah, for sure, man. All right. Also, go ahead.
I don't know. Maybe you're going to talk about this, but someone mentioned in the chat about the contest.
Yeah, I was just about to do that actually. 'Cause we keep putting this shit off and shit. Now it's episode 275. We're gonna start it, but a little bit of a caveat. We're gonna do an actual full video just so because we want to get everybody here. But you guys in Twitch right now, you get first dibs, you know. Let's just do it like that. But everybody's gonna have a fair chance, you know. So as I've been promising,
so show us that beautiful beam footage.
All right, so I'm gonna be giving away a Logitech. This is the G915 keyboard. I've used this myself. I've reviewed it. It's fucking badass. This one comes with has 30 hours of battery life because wireless and shit. And it's fucking solid, man. It has like the backlighting and all that other stuff. It has tactile, buttons and shit, nice and clicky, which is always good. That's how I like them, at least. So, and I got a few of these to give away. So tonight we're gonna start giving these away. And what you do is, like you normally do for our shows, excuse me a second, because I got the coronavirus. I got to take a little bit of a drink.
Shit.
Too soon, Tony. Too soon. Too soon.
Fuck. So yeah, basically you follow us right here on Twitch. Follow us on Twitter. They're both the same at Throwdown Show. And what you're gonna do is, matter of fact, I'm going to do this during the show. So give me 5 minutes and I'm going to ask this question on the show. I'm going to keep it nice and simple. The question is going to be, what game are you most looking forward to in 2020, right? So I'm going to toss that question up just as a preliminary thing. We're going to do a video, like an actual proper thing, and we'll get that rolling tomorrow for everybody else. But yeah, for you guys right now, you know that we're going to be giving away this keyboard. This is just the first keyboard that we're going to be giving away. We're going to do more giveaways. Manny has some more shit to give away too. So yeah, man, it's going to be crazy. So yeah, in about 5 minutes, hop over to our Twitter at the Throwdown Show and start answering the question, man. It's going to be crazy, and with that said, let's get into the show. So yeah, we already talked about it. Let's get into it. So it's official, people. E3 canceled 2020, man. The show has been going on nonstop since 1995. First time it's just been gone, and it's all because of this corona shit, so not surprised this happened, considering how all the other gaming conventions, all the tech conventions in general were getting canceled. And then obviously today we fucking heard about MLB, NHL, MLS, everything's getting canceled. NBA was canceled yesterday.
Bunch of WWF events, WWE events have been canceled too.
Yeah, so that's just the way it is. But so, Rich, why don't you start?
Reschedule.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on E3 being canceled this year?
Well, I want to ask a question that I guess is going to be a little controversial.
Whoa.
Okay.
So the cancellation is not a surprise, but we have to ask this question: was E3 ever really still good compared to how it has been in the past? It feels like this show was already on its last legs before this cancellation. So once it got canceled, I figured that probably is the final nail in the coffin. I don't know if they're going to come back because, again, Sony has not been at E3 for almost 2 years now. and they wasn't going to be at this E3. So Activision, they sometimes have a presence at E3, not always. They sometimes just rent out the hotel and show off whatever they're going to show at that particular venue, unless it's a year where they're releasing a big game like a Destiny or a Call of Duty. Then they will have space in the convention center. But the show does not feel the same, especially when you and I first went to E3. Yeah. It does not feel, it's not the same experience anymore. So I have to question whether or not this is a major loss. But yeah, the cancellation did not surprise me, because when I heard everything else got canceled, and of course GDC, because I was planning to go to GDC, and then when that got canceled, I said, okay, so E3 is probably definitely going to get canceled now. So wasn't a surprise, but I will say that I do want to give a shout out to Microsoft and Ubisoft, because they have already said they're still going to have some digital shows to really emphasize what they have that's coming. And I do believe that if every publisher takes that approach moving forward, they may not ever want to ever consider coming back to E3 when it does come back, if it comes back. Yeah. Because they can reach their audience a lot quicker that way by just showing whatever they need to show on their own time and on their own terms without spending a bunch of money in that convention center.
I think the thing about the one good thing, at least industry wise, having everything in gaming in one place. Mm-hmm. Is because there's excuses for things to happen that are not exactly, an independent publisher can have a meeting with a place like Ubisoft, while they're there, stuff like that. I think having those events are, you could also say the same sort of thing for a GDC as well, where you literally have a moment where every single person is still, a bunch of people in the industry are in the same area where they can, coalesce and create deals and do all kinds of other things. Not only just making a big show hoopla for the rest of the gaming public. I think in general, E3 has always been an industry event, and it wasn't until recently where they decided to go and let everybody in. And I think that's the moment when I think a lot of things changed, because they didn't even know how to run an event that's like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, even though they've had plenty of examples. Like I've said this many times. Tokyo Game Show and Gamescom. Gamescom specifically, from what I've been told, because I haven't been there, is like a master of this shit. They basically have days for the fans, days for the journalists, and then and even when the days where they're intermingled, the fans are always kept on one side, journalists are kept on another. So there's no intermingling, which is good. That's the way it should be, So journalists get their job done, and the fans can check out the games. But E3, they were like, hey, we're just gonna have a normal show just with 50,000 extra motherfuckers on top of it. Yeah. We all saw how that worked out when we went that first year. That was bad.
We like 2015 is when they started the progenitor program, or whatever they wanted to call it, where they essentially they gave every single studio like X amount of tickets to let people in. And then 2016 they did the same thing, and then 2017, each year they tried to do something a little different. But again, it just made the show was already sort of overcrowded from industry people, from people most people could get in because due to certain credentials. People who worked at GameStop could get into there, and all kinds of other people. So the show floor was already filled, plus with developers and all kinds of other things. So it's like, guys, you got to really, really figure this thing out. And to be honest, I feel like this sort of lead time is kind of a good thing for one reason, because it kind of helps them sort of regroup and try to figure out something that works. At least I hope that they will use this time that they're not, trying to prepare the show, to try to be like, okay, what kind of show are we putting together? Because obviously they do not understand what type of show that they're doing.
Yeah, exactly. Man, but again, like you guys said, the E3 is not what it used to be, and no. I said this too. It's like, I think this year, Richard, you and I had this conversation. Like, if they don't have E3 this year, this shit is dead. Because how the hell can you even rebound from this? So, it's looking kind of bad. And I have a little bit of and I'm gonna throw this out here now. I'm not speaking for the rest of the guys here. It's just my personal conspiracy theory. Right? I kind of feel like, the ESA may be kind of thinking they're lucky stars this happened, because think about it, everybody was leaving E3. The show was gutted even before the coronavirus hit, right? It was already gutted. Jeff Keighley had already left. Fucking all these other people were just already gone. This is before all this nonsense started happening, right? So it may be a case of the ESA going, you know what? Maybe it's a good thing. Let's just say, fuck it. Let's cancel this shit. Granted, the ESA is still going to lose money regardless because all these companies aren't going to go there. Remember, if you're a company, you want to show your games at E3, got to pay the ESA. That's how it works. Millions and millions of dollars in some cases.
Yeah,
so they're definitely going to lose money.
Get a booth.
But at the same time, even though I understand that's the case, they're going to lose money and shit, E3 was still going to look pretty bad this year. Even with the new consoles. Because think about it, it's like, okay, you got new consoles coming out. Where the fuck is Sony, right? Let's just be honest here. The one console people actually give a shit about won't be there. Sorry, Xbox. That's just how it is, man.
Oh,
yeah. By the way,
wait. You hear that? You hear that? I hear it. That sounds like Damien.
Yeah, Damien's coming. By the way, remember when we were grilling Sony last episode? Damien didn't say nothing. He was chilling.
He's probably like, yes.
No, now he's like, Tony, what you say? I'm gonna give you some question on this episode. Yo, shout out to Damien, man. He's one of our most loyal fans, man. He loves us. He hates us, but he's always there, man. Always there.
I think I feel like this could be, I think that one of the reasons why I think Jeff left, because he probably read that plan that they have, like, hey, we're going to invite some famous people to sit on the show floor and do something. It's like, oh, no. That's not what you do. Yeah. People, I'm going to say this. Yes, people give a shit about famous people. And, and people in gaming do give a shit about famous people. But they don't give a shit that much of a shit about it.
Yeah.
And I feel like in general, in gaming, games should be the stars, not some fucking actor or some whoever's in there.
Whoa, what about Keanu, dude?
I mean, him showing up on a thing, I think that creates a buzz. That always does when you have like a famous. Oh, hey, look, Norman Reedus just showed. Stuff like that.
And he is part of the game.
He is part of the game. That always creates a sort of buzz. But I don't think that essentially locking off, show floor and having a space where to do signings or having famous people. It's not that type of show.
Yeah.
It's a gaming show. I mean, yes, you can have Keanu Reeves show up at the CD Projekt Red booth and sign some babies and shit and then go on his way. That's all you need to do. But don't be like, hey, look, we're gonna hire all these people. Don't forget about that. Main thing is the games. How do we facilitate the fans, and how do we facilitate all the people that are going to be covering this thing? And that's what they really should be thinking about.
Yeah, and then the other thing I wanted to bring up is, because like Richard said, we got Ubisoft, we got Microsoft. They're going to plan their own digital things. ESA even said they're going to plan something digital around E3. So, and this is a question I asked on Twitter. I asked the panel here. I'm asking the guys in the chat right now. All right, and this is specifically for the people who have only ever watched E3 at home. They've never been to the show, whatever. They've only experienced it from home, right? If you have an entire week where the big companies do press events where they show a bunch of games on Twitch or whatever, right? How is that functionally different than what we've had before?
It's not going to be any different.
It's going to be the same thing. The only difference is, Manny, I told you this before. The only difference is it's going to be very controlled. It's going to be like for example, and we're going to bring it back right now because a lot of people say, "Oh, it's going to be like Nintendo Direct." No, it is going to be like Nintendo Direct, maybe, but it's going to be like who really started it first. Konami. Remember when Konami did those things?
Yeah.
Konami did that whole direct thing first, So I suspect it'll be something akin to that, where it's a very controlled type of Nintendo Direct type of thing. I'm using Nintendo Direct because that's the most popular one. We don't know what the fuck was the name of the Konami one. I don't even remember.
I don't know. They did it for like 2 years, and they're like, all it was like they were going to be at the show floor, but they weren't going to have a press conference. They stopped doing press conferences. Literally, I think after Tak Fuji did the 1 million,
the 1 million troops.
Yeah. Literally after that, they didn't do any more of those things. They just had like those pre-canned things, and they had the head of Konami like, "This is a new game. Look at Metal Gear."
Yeah. So basically, what I'm trying to get is like most people that watch E3 will not be affected by this. The only people that are affected by this are people that go to E3. So if you're at home and they do this the way that I think they're going to do it, even though it's not E3 as it used to be, you're still going to get the E3 quote unquote experience because you're still going to see the games. You're still going to see the interviews. You're still going to see demos and shit. You're still going to get the information. So functionally speaking, you're not getting a diminished experience if they do it right. because if it's only Ubisoft and Microsoft doing anything, it's gonna be kind of fucked up. But here's the other thing. I was just thinking about this now. It would be nice if the ESA and all these other companies started doing something together. Like, okay, let's have everything on this one Twitch channel, because it would suck if you have like Ubisoft doing their shit on their channel, Microsoft doing their shit on their channel, Nintendo doing their shit on their channel.
Well,
and then you know what I'm saying? Then like, what if there's scheduling conflicts? So hopefully they could iron all that shit out, because that would suck.
Well, that's how it is for E3 in general. Like every time there's a different press conference, like EA, Ubisoft, Microsoft, they're all in their own Twitch channels. So that's probably not going to change.
Oh yeah, no. But here's the thing: they're okay. Granted, they're not in Twitch channels, but they're not on at the same time either. Because like one or the other. You know what I'm saying? Either do one or do the other. Don't do both. Because that would be bad. Like everybody's like, okay, we're gonna have all our shits at 9 a.m. on a Sunday. It's like, yo, you can't watch all that shit.
It would be pretty dumb if they actually did that. If they were even if they weren't even coordinated or consolidated by the ESA, like it still would be dumb to put their press conference at the same time as another one.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make any sense.
So I would hope that, because I kind of suspect that other companies are gonna follow suit and have their own digital things. As a matter of fact, Manny, I think you talked about this. Warner Brothers was going to have a press conference. I had no fucking clue. I'm pretty sure that's where we're going to announce a new Witcher game.
They want to talk about Batman.
They were going to talk about Batman. So yeah, so it's like, yo, just don't bunch up and you should be okay. But anyway, the point I was going to say, like, okay, Square Enix, they're probably going to do something. Yo, but the question is, will Sony do something?
I mean,
what I'm saying? Because Sony's still been like, "Fuck you guys, we're gonna do what we want."
I mean, they've been so quiet. The only thing we heard out of them is just a couple of little things here and there. But yeah, like, were they planning to do anything during that week, or were they just not? Again, they haven't said anything about anything.
Mum's the word, as they say.
It's funny with all this. Speaking of Sony, with all this sort of like digital. With all this digital like E3 that we're talking about now, it sort of reminded me of the time when Sony decided to recreate their E3 booth in PlayStation Home, and inside of it you could play some demos and you can watch footage of the up and coming games and stuff like that, and explore and do all kinds of crazy stuff. It's kind of interesting how we're kind of doing that a little bit. With a lot of the way a lot of the companies are kind of leaning,
Yeah, for sure. Chris, I want to hear Chris' thoughts. What are your thoughts on E3 being canceled and all that other jazz?
Well, I think it's interesting. My tinfoil hat theory was akin to yours, but my only difference was, people were pulling out, and the ESA saw the writing on the wall, so maybe they pulled the plug. But I think it's a little more than that. I think this is going to set the precedent for the future. I think they're going to use this as a blanket to say, you don't need physical conventions anymore. You don't need physical industry shows or whatever. Like, companies can give you everything digitally. They can launch demos right after they run their stream, and you'll experience everything. Everybody will be on an equal playing field, and they'll set up shit where in lieu of when we used to have appointments and go to the rooms and stuff, they'll just set up Skype calls or whatever, Discord or
I could see
with the
that
companies.
shit too,
yeah, and then they could show you stuff right on the video. They could be like, "Hey Tony, give me your PSN ID." Boom, send you a private thing. Okay, there you go. You got the private demo. You can try out the game and tell us what you think. Send you the press kit right over fucking Dropbox or another secure file sharing. They're doing all this, but the thing is, if they roll this out slowly, people would get pissed. People would be like, "Oh man, I'm gonna miss these shows or whatever." You get all this resentment, but if you hide it behind this pandemic and you just take all that away, and then it just doesn't come back next year or the year after, and you're just like, "Hey, this is how we're doing it. Hey, it was so successful last year. We're gonna keep doing this, right? We're not gonna have E3 anymore."
It's essentially new Coke.
Yeah, I mean, they just pull the rope-a-dope, as he says it on you, right? But they're hiding it behind it's not direct. They're like, "Oh, this virus is so bad and all this emergency, whatever." Hey, that's the perfect excuse. This is the perfect time to pull everything digital.
But they lose a lot of money, man. That's the thing.
Well,
There's
here's
a lot of money behind all this.
Not for the publishers. Not for the publishers. Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, Konami, all these guys got to spend millions to go to LA, set up booths, bring their people over there.
Well, how much you think
conferences, put up hotels. it costs a ton of money. Like the booth space itself, they charge a ton per square foot. So the bigger area you have, like when you're Microsoft and Sony, they have the biggest areas. They're paying hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars to run that shit. You need all the electricity to run it. You need the union guys to come put up and break down shit. Like the costs just keep adding up. So for the publishers, this is a boon because they can set up their own streaming and everything and set up their own event the way they want it, and there's no like renting out a civic center or renting this out, and there's none of that. They do it on their own terms, and it's small scale, and they don't have to spend any extra money but the soft dollars to use their own staff and people to present it to you. So that's what the only people losing out is the ESA. That's who's losing out.
Yeah, I think that's Brett right above me. What's going on, Brett?
What's up, guys?
How you doing, man? You sound very low, by the way.
Boom. How's that?
There you go.
There we go. By the way, Goose is saying that the ESA doesn't want to lose all that money. Trust me, this virus is serious. It's the only reason they're shutting shit down. Chris, what's your response to that?
Well, I mean, there's two things going on here. Like, yeah, they really don't have a choice because I think California's in a state of emergency. And then today, they just said that they're I think it's in California that they're banning all gatherings more than 100 people. Definitely include E3 and anything outside of E3. Even Devolver couldn't have a gathering, right? At that point, you're banning that so few people in one space. So they really didn't have an option. But here's the thing, like I said, yes, there's a real pandemic. I'm not saying like, coronavirus isn't happening or whatever. That is happening, and that is serious, and they have to take it seriously, and they have to follow all the state guidelines and stuff. But here's the thing: I'm telling you who wins and loses in that, right? And we told you the ESA loses in that thing, but publishers win because they can pull out of E3. This is like almost as if you were having a bad relationship and a war broke out and you got drafted. Like, oh shit, well, I got no reason. I got to bail.
If that's the case, then the state loses, because think of all the hotels that lose out on money, the restaurants, the catering.
Sure, there's tax revenue to be lost.
Yeah, no, they are, but Chris is saying that the publishers are going to win. That's a fact.
They're still not going to win. They're still not going to win.
Publishers, we're talking about the publishers. We're not talking about the state.
The publishers, exactly. They're still not going to win.
Publishers save money, they don't have to pay millions of dollars.
They save money, yes, but at the same time, their mindset isn't there right now for this. Just like anything. Like you said, compare this to a war. The last thing people are thinking about during a war is like, damn, I can't wait for that new game to come out. Interest has been shifted.
You'd be surprised, man.
Dude,
I saw it.
You could be in the middle of World War III and fucking Uncharted comes to the PC and everyone.
I'm telling you.
We're gonna talk about this. By the way, I'm skipping ahead a little bit, but think about it like this: this whole Corona shit is going on right now. What was the biggest thing in gaming this week? The fucking Horizon Zero Dawn is coming to PC. These guys didn't give a fuck.
Flipped out.
But that's the fuck out. That small community. We saw the guy rage with a lot of other people.
Adam, I understand this is serious and everything. You don't think these companies are going, oh shit, we're gonna save some money? You know they are.
No. I think they're concerned that people are not going to spend money. When you start talking about all this shit, and you start talking about recessions, people start thinking about saving money, cutting back.
No, we're talking about. Listen, if you're Ubisoft, you're like, oh shit, I don't have to spend millions of dollars on a fucking booth now. That's what you're thinking. You're saving money.
Yeah, but they already had that money allocated. They already had it planned.
No, but you don't. Yeah. But here's the thing, Adam, and this is where you're mistaken. So in the short term, they get to ESA has to refund them. Now that there's a state of emergency declared, once you have the government telling you have to pull back the show, right? ESA has to give them back their money. So they
weren't there to begin with. Microsoft wasn't there. They were going to do their own.
They have to pay ahead of time. You don't pay the day you show up, and the unions comes and
they already pay
ahead of time. So they get that money back. And secondly, here's how there's a short-term gain and a long-term gain. The short-term gain is, yes, they don't have to spend the money at E3. They get that money back. The long-term gain is if they can go forward and not have to allocate money for physical conventions, they can put that money into marketing and other things to and see their ROI actually increase because they don't need that physical venue to now promote their stuff. They don't need those outlets.
Weren't there.
No, but he was just talking about the long term. They could also be like, hey, we don't need to do this. We don't need to spend money in the future to do this shit.
They didn't have to do it before. We've seen it. They didn't do it before. Microsoft didn't do it. Sony didn't. You know? Yeah, but before everything has definitely changed in social media, and that's taken over. There are other ways. They realized that when Microsoft put their name on that theater and said, all right, this is what we're going to start doing. And when EA said, hey, we're going to start doing it, it's already been going in that direction even before this.
Oh no, for sure. This just definitely just pushed things further. I'm agreeing with you on that point. But the point is,
my fear, because you're talking about the saving money. My fear is that yes, people will say, "Oh, they're saving money," but on the other hand, we have this issue of just the financial aspect of it. So you save this money, but then remember, these conventions were to promote new products. So one of the key ones is promoting these consoles, which around going to be $400 or $500.
Yeah, but Ubisoft is not promoting the new consoles.
No. They're just promoting their games, exactly.
And
but
think about
still,
it, consoles.
So even then, the publishers still have to then try to bring some new light to this and try to make things encouraging.
It's called Twitch, man.
You can try to do it. You can try to get.
We don't need the industry shows anymore because we don't use print anymore.
No, we don't need the show.
Again, if you're a regular fan, the thing about this, if you're a regular fan, you're watching on Twitch, right? What does it matter to you if it's at the LA Convention Center or in fucking Montreal? It doesn't matter. It's the same fucking show.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's not needed.
Yeah, so basically my point is Ubisoft can still promote their game at the same time as E3 without and save all that money. That's what I'm trying to get at.
My point, the one thing I'm saying is because what we all know that when E3 comes out, it gets a lot of recognition from outside gaming sources. It gets Newsweek and newspapers and stuff. So then they hit those markets. I think that's the main reason why they do it, because they hit outside the box.
Yeah,
they know the people in the box are going to be there because just like in any genre, that's if you're into it, you're into it.
Yeah.
But they like these events because it gets covered from a wide range of outlets. That's gone. So if they try to push into those areas, then
but again, who does that hurt? That hurts the ESA. It doesn't hurt the publishers. It hurts the ESA.
It does hurt the publishers. There's no drawn attention. There's no reason for these.
Why can't they just have private events? Why can't they invite Newsweek and all the outlets to private events?
They could. Then that's money too. Let's see them do it.
But that's on their own terms, and that's astronomically less dollars. And if I have to spend $150,000 to throw a banquet and invite Tony and a bunch of guys over to demo stuff, or spend $10 million in the LA Convention Center, I'll take the other one.
Yeah,
I'll take the first option.
Manny, go ahead. Manny, go ahead.
And also, let me add that Tony has said that he's attended events that are literally like a week after E3. The year that he did E3, he literally played a lot of the games that he would have played while he was there.
That's why I wasn't sweating not going to E3 last year. All the big games from E3 I pretty much played afterwards, But you're right about that. It's like a company would rather spend $150,000 bring a bunch of gaming journalists to a one-day event than spending $10 million to be at a booth for a week, Carlos, go ahead.
So, Adam, you're my boy.
Uh-oh.
I got respect for you. But E3 does not have, like, you're talking about the attention, like newspapers and TV stations and shit. No one in middle of America is gonna be talking about No Man's Sky after they saw the E3 demo from something like just Joe.
But I still don't think you guys get what I was coming from. Are you thinking that I was pro E3?
No. I know exactly what you're saying. I'm just saying that you're looking at it from the ESA standpoint, which is actually.
I'm not looking at their standpoint. No, I'm not. That's not what I was getting at either. I was looking at the state.
Yeah, but
the money, the other outlets, the other aspects of it. Then you guys are talking about, well, they're winning, they're getting all this money, and I still don't see the publishers. I still don't see them. I still don't see it as a win for them. I don't think they even see this as a win of because if that was the case, they didn't have to do E3. Period. They
weren't going to do E3
for over a decade. They already know the money that goes into it. And they know it's a bucket load of money. They didn't need to do it. We saw when 360, you know this, Carlos. When the 360, wait, listen. When the 360 launched, Carlos knows this because you guys weren't in the bubble yet. But Carlos remembers this. When the Xbox Live Arcade launched, remember when they said we were going to E3? They said, hey, all the demos are on the floor, that those people are there. We're going to start posting them. So the same time it's there, you'll get to play it. So you're not missing out. We bring that shit back.
But look at how small that bucket is. It was all the people that were at the show floor. Imagine if they did this and they just released it on the Xbox Live.
Just launch a demo.
Just launch a demo. It would have even more of an impact. Like what I think, like the thing that's not getting mentioned here is that this is an investment. They don't even know if this is returning on investment. That's why a lot of companies aren't even showing up anymore or haven't been showing up.
Yeah, look,
Too expensive.
It's not a return on investment. Go ahead.
You
Bro.
guys played Warzone the other night, right?
Yeah.
That Call of Duty
Yeah.
Battle Royale.
6 million people.
Right, exactly my point. How if Activision were to have an event, how many influencers and whatever could they possibly invite to get that kind of publicity?
Yeah,
there isn't
right?
any. There isn't an amount. Like they could not. There isn't that many fucking journalists and influencers on the planet.
Yeah.
They got better press just launching this shit with a 1-day event.
Yeah,
and I think guarantees money.
And it all happened online too. You know?
And honestly, like if these companies, the Ubisofts, the EAs, and Microsoft, all of them, like they can do their little press conferences or directs or whatever you want to call them, and do them in sort of the time frame of the E3 time frame, and just pimp out their games. It'll be more cohesive. They don't have to pay for their staff to go over there to.
Well, the only thing that sucks, and what's what Tony pointed out, is that it is a controlled environment. Everyone's going to get the same narrative. We're all going to hear the same shit. We don't have that experience of, like, let's say if Tony was in one of the rooms and he got to talk to a dev, and the dev spilled in some other tidbit that we didn't see.
Yeah, no, I was more talking about like Keanu Reeves moments. You're not going to really get those in these fucking things.
No, I thought you were talking about just inside of talking to these devs and getting a different perspective.
I was talking about the flubs and the fuck ups and shit. Like, if it's controlled, it's gonna be edited. They're gonna cut all that shit out until they get it right. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the shit that's gonna be missing. Oh, but you're right about the backdoor deals or whatever. That's definitely gonna be missing too, because that benefits indie game. You know, we talked about this last week on Goose was asking us that question. It's definitely gonna affect
the networking.
Yeah. Networking. Yeah, I've networked at E3, so that's definitely gonna be.
That's the point. But
again, I'm trying to look at it from more of the general gamer standpoint. General gamer is gonna be just fine. They're gonna get the same content. Yeah.
Yeah, there's winners and losers in it. I'm saying the publishers win.
Publishers definitely.
And the ESA loses. Yeah, journalists lose out. Yes, that connection, that sense of community is gone. Right? You can't get that back. Can't replace it.
Yeah.
There's people that I only, not to make it personal, but there's people that I only see at E3 every year. Not gonna see them this time. You know what I'm saying? But that's just the way it is. Go ahead, Carlos.
So also another thing, like this is in terms of just the gaming aspect and getting information. We're probably going to get more information now because Ubisoft and EA can make their presentations way longer than they had because they're renting theaters. They're spending all this money to host a presentation, flying people over, having all their little things. I don't know whatever else they pay for, but now they can stream a video that's maybe 2 hours long.
They're already doing that though. We saw with Breakpoint. Remember when Breakpoint launched? The first launch with a video for it and the whole trailer and showing gameplay that was on their official YouTube.
Yeah,
that was before the event. So they already had that ability.
Oh, yeah. We're not questioning that. We're just saying that the publishers are going to just save money, and they could present the same shit they've always been presenting to people at home. No one's going to miss anything,
I just hope they go the route that we talked about with before. Just, hey, if there's no show floor now, that's done, then just give us the demos. Put it on all platforms. Put a little time exclusive you want. But, like, hey, this is only up for, like, 24 hours, 48 hours a weekend.
Yeah, I can see conference calls. I didn't realize that. You're right about they could probably do conference calls for the journalists and shit.
Yeah.
They could also seem out for us, yeah. Go ahead, bro.
I just want to make a quick comment because I think the point that Carlos was making about the publishers giving more information, I definitely think they're going to give a lot more than they normally would because they still got games coming out later this year that they want people to know about and they need to sell.
Yeah.
So they're definitely going to be a lot more aggressive and maybe give you a lot more in-depth looks at a couple of the games. For example, Square Enix has their big game coming out later this year. It's a game that I was talking about with Tony. I can't think of it Outriders.
Outriders, yeah.
That game is definitely going to have a major showcase at some point before it comes out because they definitely want everybody to know as much about it as possible. So that's just an example. And then, of course, the stuff that was going to get revealed, I definitely think you'll see a lot of that, especially if it's coming out this fall. That is, if the consoles are not delayed. But
do you think that would be enough?
Well, that's a whole other conversation right there, isn't it?
Could that be enough? I mean, think about it. Most of these, we were expecting dates for certain things, right? That's what we were expecting, big news. That could be an announcement. And I think it would be unacceptable. I think people would accept it just from the current conditions. I think this would be the time to clarify, because all the eyes are pointing like, hey, this is your big announcement. Then you could say, hey, we have a slight delay due to what's going on, current conditions. And I think this would be the time and place to do it. Or at least the time. There is no place now.
No place. Yeah, the internet. The internet is the place.
But that brings up another point: is that time window still going to be the time window that they're all going to follow? Because now they don't need to follow that. Well, they could say, you know what?
Well, here's the thing.
Fucking, we're ready. We're posting our shit on next Saturday.
The ESA did say they will post something during the week of E3. They did say that. Ubisoft and Microsoft, I don't. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think they said when they're going to do it.
No, they just said they're putting together their own. They didn't give a date.
They didn't give a date, but ESA is definitely going to do something. So we know that for a fact.
They're going to be like, hey, look, we got. It's like an empty room.
We got some trailers to show you. It's going to be a showcase.
And this would have been probably a really good place to put Jeff Keighley, right? If he was still involved,
he could do his own thing.
Who knows? Yeah, he might have something already planned. We don't know.
Yeah, I'm still saying.
To be honest, he could also just totally one up the ESA in this whole situation and literally essentially create his own E3 situation.
I'm trying to think of a clever name for it. I can't think. Key 3, like Keeley 3. I don't know.
Key 3. There we go.
Key 3. Yeah. Key 4. He has evolved.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I'm still adamant.
Or Keeley.
What you adamant about, man? You adamant?
I'm adamant about the Keeleys hooking up with Sony and having their like little press conference.
I can see that shit. Yeah, like Jeff Keighley will host a Sony event. And
I thought about that
right there in the front row. You know who?
Do you think that would put a bad light on him, especially with the whole him being in a Death Stranding game?
I think he doesn't give a fuck, bro.
Yeah, you say that, but he still has the Game Awards, and I think he still wants to make it seem like he's neutral. He made that evident online when everyone would say, "Hey, you're in the game," and he said, "Hey, I'm not judging." There's a whole other panel of people judging, and of course, Death Stranding didn't win all the awards.
Definitely clowning everybody. Like when Death Stranding didn't start winning awards at other places, they were like, "Oh, really? Is it still rigged? Is it still rigged?" Like
that's what I'm saying. So I could see him just trying to be more neutral and not just do his own show, his own
multiple years in a row. He has actually done Sony E3 events.
Yeah, he has.
Like whenever, it's probably mostly because of Kojima was involved, but multiple times he's been hosting the after events.
He ain't.
Well, we'll ask him when we put him on Throwdown. When he comes on, we'll ask him.
Yeah, when he gets on Throwdown,
we'll bring him on. Yeah, I'll hit him up.
Yeah, but like I was saying, he ain't neutral about Kojima, man. That's his BFF.
We won't bring that up. We'll tell him we're not talking about Kojima. We're talking everything else except Kojima.
And he's like, interview canceled.
Yeah, that's it. And then I'll tell him I have another special guest. I was like, yo, Terrence, jump in here. Come on, real quick.
These motherfuckers.
Excuse me?
Excuse me? Oh my God, he'll go crazy with that shit. By the way, for you guys who don't know, the origin of that, excuse me, is Torrance making fun of Jeff Keighley. It's hilarious. Oh man, I don't remember those specific. Basically, Torrance was throwing a bunch of tweets at Jeff Keighley. Jeff Keighley was not answering any of them.
He made some sexual gay comment or something. He said like you butt something.
Yeah. So then basically Torrance, made some sexual comment, and then Jeff Keighley responds with "excuse me," and then later on that week during the war zone, Torrance was retelling the story, but the way he did an impression of Jeff Keighley was "excuse me." So that's where we get that shit from. So just know every time we do that, it's a Jeff Keighley thing. Via Torrance Davis. All right. Any other things you guys want to say on this particular topic about E3's cancellation?
2020's been canceled. It's been pushed forward to 2021.
Yeah, they said that they plan on coming back for 2021. So people were like, "Oh, they're done now."
The human race is going to be extinct by then. So what convention?
Obviously, because the Death Stranding is going to happen, we're all separated in our bunkers. So the next thing to happen is the extinction entity comes in and destroys us all.
Oh shit, that's going to be the what you call it? Ready Player One.
Not to mention, this shit ain't over. We got a meteor coming in April.
Okay.
We got
And
a
a
meteor.
black hole. Did you hear about the black hole? That's pointing in our direction. A new one.
Just aim all that shit at New Jersey and we'll be all right. You know,
Fucking crazy.
send that shit to Jersey, man. All right, let's fucking go. Next topic here. All right, my favorite topic of the week, man. So we talked about this before when it was just a rumor, but now it is true, people. Horizon Zero Dawn is now a former PlayStation exclusive. It is coming to PC this summer. Man, the reason I'm bringing this story up now because of the what's up.
I thought that the Decima engine couldn't run on PC.
Who said that?
That's what they told me. That's what the internet told me. Like everyone was saying that the Decima can't run.
The internet told you that shit?
Dumbasses.
What's going on, Tony?
I don't know, man. Maybe you tell me the intro was wrong. But anyway, the reason we're doing this story is not really because of like, hey, let's talk about the story. No, we're here to make fun of fanboys, specifically PlayStation ponies. These guys were a riot this week, man. As a matter of fact, Manny asked a good question: Who was worse, right? Whose reaction was worse when Xbox found out that all their games were coming to PC, or when this happened? I think the Sony guys reacted worse. You know,
I don't remember Xbox people smashing their Xboxes.
No, yeah, they went. Don't get me wrong, they went crazy, but you know, like, let's just be honest. Xbox,
well, you forgot the third. There's a third one.
What's the third one?
And it was when the PC games, the Steam. Remember when Epic started getting exclusives for years for the Borderlands stuff? People saying they were going to boycott and they were not buying their games and they're deleting shit. They were the first really to experience all that.
Yeah, oh yeah, those guys were fucking crazy. But
they
yeah,
went nuts.
But yeah, some of these stories were fucking hilarious. I want to tell this one story. Hopefully, I don't have to cough during the middle of it. My favorite thing that happened to me was basically there was this one guy saying that he tweeted at Sean Layden. He was saying, "Oh, you got to come back. You got to come out of retirement and save Sony." Right? So Sean Layden. Just Sean Layden responds like with a gif of The Rock saying it's gonna be okay, So I took a screenshot of that and posted it. I'm like, this guy's fucking dumb. Something along those lines.
You just said something like it's hilarious.
Yeah, I think I said it was funny or something, right? So I started getting all these replies from these Brazilian dudes. I'm like, the fuck is going on here? So apparently that guy is like a well-known or infamous like YouTuber or something from Brazil, and they were all saying things like, "Yo, you're a fucking clown in Brazil. Now you're a fucking clown internationally." Like, yo, man, he was dunking on this dude,
Yo, I was just remembering like Tony sending me all these like screenshots of all these fucking Portuguese things replies. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, so that shit was crazy. By the way, I was a little offended by this one guy saying, "Hey, look, you even got the gringos making fun of you." I'm like, I'm not a gringo. I'm Latino like you, motherfucker.
Well, Brazilians are darker than you, yo.
Well, not the guys from Sepultura. We're the same skin color. By the way, just like Dominican Republic and Brazil have the same thing in common. Basically, if you're white, that means you're rich. That's just how it is down there, But I found that whole thing funny. Just like the reaction, these guys were saying, "Oh, Sony betrayed me." There was, by the way, that one video of that one guy smashing his PlayStation. Turned out that was fake. Thank God that was fake.
There is no way. There's no way.
Fake.
But the video of this one other asshole, he put his PS4 Pro in a bath, in like a shower, and wet the shit. And I'm like, yo, what the hell is wrong with you, dude?
Wow. Well, it could have just been a shell.
Yeah,
it could have just been a shell.
But he was doing it just he wasn't doing it because he was mad at Sony. He was just
it was dirty.
No, he just because he's a PC gamer, so he's like, fuck Sony, they're assholes, But I'm like, yo, it's money, bro. What the fuck?
Yeah, they
apparently you got money to burn or money to drown.
Yeah. But my thing is like, okay, and we talked about this when this thing was just a rumor. Why are dudes beefing about a game that's 3 years old coming to PC? Who gives a fuck? Nobody's buying that shit on PS4 anymore.
I said this on Twitter. It's like, if you guys cared that much about this game, how come you didn't keep buying it? Months, years after it already came out. Every game runs into that phase where the game is not making as much money as it was. Why wouldn't any company want to essentially get a little bit more, get a little bit more in the vein and and release it on PC? And to be honest, I think this is there's a bigger thing behind this. We're talking about Death Stranding, and we're talking about Horizon Zero Dawn, as well as Until Dawn and any other games that were already developed on the Decima engine. I think this is a parlay to make the Decima engine into a wider open engine to be used on multiple consoles. And if you think this sounds crazy, ever heard of the Fire engine? The Fire engine was a purely Sony owned engine that any company could use to make any games. It could run on Xbox 360, Xbox One, PlayStation 3, Xbox, all the consoles you could develop for, as well as on PC. So think about it. You have these two AAA games that are developed on there. One game took only 3 years to make, which was Death Stranding. I think that they're trying to parlay this into something a little bit bigger to make more money out of it.
I think that's
games.
But I think that's what they're scared of, the trend. I think they're scared that this will catch on. If these games sell well, then this could be the trend of exclusives just going to PC, and it might not be in such a broad window. It might be in a shorter window because they're like, hey, they're willing to jump and buy it at this price at this time. What if we can catch it while it's still hot and release it 6 months after it's on PlayStation?
I think the thing about it is I don't think as long as Sony's going to be continue to be making consoles and to put put all their money into a console, I think we're going to just see, I guess maybe for depending on whatever game it is, you're going to see them probably might see older games down the line. That's what I'm thinking.
I don't think
especially within, I don't see this as a bad thing at all, to be honest. But I don't think that Sony is going to undermine their own business by releasing it all in one day, and especially with how long it takes to optimize PC games.
I don't think they see PC games or PC in general as competition. It's it's just the fact that they're willing to do stuff like this. It's like, oh no, well, it's a PC. It's not a console.
Obviously, we said before in the past that it is software that really sells these consoles, and it's really not. Consoles don't start making money until years after they've actually, but it's mostly just the software that's selling these things, or where they're making the money at. But I also think that in this situation, I think it also gives these things a little bit of a shot. It gives these titles a little bit of a shot in the arm to make money after. You're literally hitting an audience that really has never touched these games before if they don't own any of the previous, the PlayStation version, right? And then also you can also say another thing. This could also be testing the future. Essentially, hey, look, we have a more of a reason to continue to develop these games and take advantage of the new technology that's coming out before it gets put onto the actual PlayStations, right?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to Glorious War, who's throwing us a bunch of bits here. So I'm going to read what he says because he is not happy about any of this at all. He's not happy about the game coming to PC. So this is what he has to say. First comment is rest in peace, PlayStation, 1994 to 2020. Social conditioning, bruh. PlayStation going to have a PC storefront in the next year, in the next 5 years, I mean. And then you just lost a major selling point of your closed ecosystem. Give them an inch and they will take a mile. So, yeah, he's not happy about that.
But here's the thing, Glorious. Like, okay, what you're talking about, what is it? How old is Horizon Zero Dawn? 3 years? How much money is Horizon Zero Dawn making at this point in time?
Probably nothing, we're still playing that fucking game is old,
It's an old game. Everybody's already ran their course. Anybody who's at least on PlayStation has already run their course on the damn thing. So what are you going to do? Just let it sit there and just collect dust or collect digital dust?
Is it on PS Now?
No, I don't know if it's on PS Now.
Because PS Now, people can play that on PC.
Brian, is it?
It's out on PS Now,
Okay.
I think, since like January or just before.
So it is on there.
So, I mean, I just think that they're trying to catch a little bit of extra money off these things and try to catch a little bit more life on this thing right before they head over to the next generation. I don't think you should worry too much about this stuff. If anything, like, again, I think that what's going to happen is they're not going to, essentially Sony's even, then again, any company, you have to take their words with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
But their idea is essentially consoles are their thing. But that doesn't mean the future can't hold something for PC, right?
Oh shit! What's going on, Otaku man? Oh, go ahead, Brad.
I also want to point out, this could be a situation of the next new Horizon could be highly coveted amongst PC players because they've played the first one now.
Yeah.
But the second one is still, exclusive to PlayStation. It's one of those I'll throw you some table scraps and you'll beg for the meal kind of thing.
Yeah, that's what Goose said.
You know what?
Hold on, let me finish. That's what Goose said. He thinks that this is a way for Sony to entice the PC players over to their fan base. And you're right, think about it. They buy Horizon Zero Dawn on PC. Like, this game's fucking dope. Horizon Zero Dawn 2 comes out. Oh shit. It's only on PlayStation 5. I guess I better get a PlayStation 5 now, So I think that's definitely. Also, I do want to add that, even though Manny, you rightly said that they could change their minds whenever. They already said you will not see day and date games because they don't want to ruin. They don't want to step on each other's toes or whatever. So that for the immediate future. You don't need to worry about that. So
I don't see this as I know people are all doing, but at least we're not seeing fucking what is it, does Days Gone just appear on there all of a sudden?
Yeah, but again, if Days Gone comes a year later, who gives a shit?
Yeah, exactly. And I think the same thing with Death Stranding. It's like, all right, Death Stranding kind of run its course already. Who's to say that it, make a little bit of extra money off the thing and hit a little bit of a different audience and see what happens.
I just hope they don't go the route that what Microsoft did with Gears of War. When Gears of War came out on PC, it had an extra level. And they were like, oh, well, that was an enticement to play. That fucking sucked because people were like, well, is that going to come as DLC for the Xbox? No. So if you wanted to play that extra level, you had to play it on PC, and eventually
they're gonna have
Xbox One. Yeah, we got the Ultimate Edition,
Half-Life hat or something. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, one thing that there is the Half-Life hat that shows up on Death Stranding, but there's also the photo mode that everybody's been asking for on PlayStation. That's going to be on PC. None of the what is it? And none of the they're not right now. They're not saying anything about it becoming an update or anything for the PlayStation version. Yeah. So as of now, at least the photo mode, which I don't think anybody's going to be buying a game for a freaking photo mode.
Yo, what about that Half-Life hat though, man?
I mean, for that, it's got a Half-Life hat, and you got a couple other things. It's like, I don't think people are going to buy.
As long as it's not some mode.
I think it's bullshit that we have to wait. That we were the first guys there to get the game, and we didn't get a photo mode, and then the PC guys get it. That's bullshit.
Yeah, and as of now, they're not saying whether it's going to be on PlayStation.
Yeah, it's like, come on, yo, like. Oh my god! Here's the thing. If
PlayStation fans was yelling all over the place to put a photo mode in.
Oh yeah, no. Here's the thing. If you're gonna add a photo mode later, okay, I understand. Maybe even though it's bullshit, should have been there day one. Okay, that's fine. If you're gonna put it on PC, that's fine. Make sure the PlayStation guys get it too, guys. Come on, that's all I'm saying.
But I feel like
that game begs for a photo mode, man.
Exactly. You have all these, the best way to get those sorts of photos is you got to turn off the menus and all that stuff in order to get a decent photo out of the damn game. Kind of like MGS5.
Yeah, you were doing some ill shit though, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, the game has all this. Literally does have all the things that you would need to make a proper photo mode. It has a lot of automatic zooms and things that it does on its own. So yeah, you can do some cool shit.
Anyway, Rich, I want your thoughts on Horizon Zero Dawn coming to PC, man. What do you think? What do you think about that? And then, of course, the fallout from the fanboys.
Well, another controversial statement coming. I honestly think that this is an excellent business strategy for them to do this because I agree with a lot of what was already said. As Manny made the point that yes, they want to expand upon the Decima engine. We already know that was also used in Death Stranding, but I say it's a smart business move because I think we all know that there's going to be a Horizon Zero Dawn 2, and that's probably what's going to get announced whenever they finally announce the PlayStation 5. When they actually reveal it. So it will definitely get people more interested in the sequel because you're giving PC players who didn't play the game on PS4 a chance to play it. And yeah, I think it's good from that standpoint because again, you have to understand, I know there are a lot of people that love Sony and a lot of these companies, but they're always going to do what is best for business. And I know Adam knows that line very well as a wrestling fan. So yes, you have to do what is best for business. So
you gotta do what's best for business.
That's right. So I don't have a problem with the decision. I did know that it was going to be a fallout though, because I think people lose their mind, and I'm just waiting for Sony to do that thing where they announce that The Last of Us Part 2 is also coming to PC. And once that happens, You're gonna see a lot of people angry.
Yo, I'm gonna tell you right now, Rich. If that shit happens, I'm gonna be on Twitter all fucking day, laughing, son. And here's the point I want to make up, right? I want to really instill in people's heads, right? You realize that if the game comes to PC, you can still play it on your PlayStation. Just saying, you know, I know that's crazy, that's preposterous, that's absurd, but the game is still running on your PlayStation. Sony is not going to come to your house and steal your fucking game and give it to a PC guy. That ain't happening, guys. So if the PC guys want to play the game, let them play the game. You can still play the game on your PlayStation. No problems there.
They want it to feel special.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. I mean, there's that part of it where it's like you feel that sort of, it's the only club, and you gotta realize this nothing in this in business is solid. If a company feels like that they can make a little bit more money doing something, they're gonna do it. I mean, look at what Xbox is doing. They're essentially moving into what I call the green ocean, which is essentially they're not competing with anybody.
You know.
Hey, I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Was this reaction also the same when Detroit Became Human came to PC? Were people angry when they heard this announcement?
No, nobody said shit.
Nobody said nothing.
There was some anger about it, but I think it all depends on the perspective of the game. Death Stranding had it for a little bit, but then it just disappeared, right? But Horizon Zero Dawn, that's the big one, right? That people give a shit about that one. That's like now watch if they ever announce, and you know what you said about The Last of Us. What if they said God of War?
Oh yeah, God of War. Oh yeah.
Again, I will be on Twitter.
It would be
God of War or Spider-Man.
God of War or Spider-Man. It would be thermal meltdown. Fucking people's brains would be leaking out of their head.
There'd be like PS4 Pro bonfires outside and shit.
Yo.
And light their house on fire. Like, I can't live here anymore. So
I saw this one tweet. Somebody was like, "Hey, can we get the game on?" Actually, somebody asked Corey Barlog, right? Can we get God of War on PC? And Corey Barlog, he didn't say yes or no. He was making fun.
He just put a little icon that was like,
Yeah. And then one guy replied with, he replied with the Kratos gift that's like Shaq, waving at the cat or whatever. So one guy replies like, "You can't have Kratos on PC. He's too powerful for PC." Yo, man, this shit is funny, man. But by the way, guys, calm down in the chat right now. Don't call each other names, man.
Yeah, man. Listen, y'all all cool. Y'all playing games. It's okay.
I will read a comment, and Glarswar asked me to read it, and he did give his bid. So
shout out to you, man.
Gotta give a shout out. He said, "I'm not upset. I'm just saying they are going to lose a customer like me, who spends over $1,000 on PSN every year. I won't buy a PS5 if every PS exclusive comes out just a year later." And I'm assuming on PC.
So are you going to get a PC then? And I want him to answer that question because I'm like, are you willing to not buy PlayStation games for that? That sounds a little weird.
He's saying that I guess he's assuming that they'll just get released on PC the next year. But Horizon, it was 3 years.
Death Stranding is the only one that is a year. It's not even a year. It's maybe a few months.
Yeah, and that's not even a first-party Sony game. It's like a second-party, I think. I don't know how shit works.
I don't know. They're Kojima's deal with Sony is very interesting and weird, and I don't know. They said something like I think back to when they originally said it. They were just saying a partnership with Kojima Productions. So it's like, what does that mean? A partnership? Does that mean they could literally just walk the game over to anything they want, or just whatever, or just was this all the PC thing all in the works even back when they first essentially started developing the thing?
Yeah. By the way, not to toot our own horn, but we're gonna toot our own horn right now. We kind of called this when Death Stranding was announced for for PC. We're like, hey, that's Decima engine. Wouldn't it be funny if Horizon Zero Dawn came?
But that's what gets me to thinking. That's like, if we have a really powerful engine like Decima that now is going to be proven with 2 different titles running on on a PC, and it has a name. Most in-house engines don't actually have names. They just usually just say, RE engine has a name, and they have a logo for it. I think they
Decima didn't have a name until Kojima came around.
Until Kojima stepped in. So my guess is, like, to be honest, what if they decided to parlay this into a system like the way Epic Games has, where they literally have this amazing engine that companies can license and do stuff that way.
And Decima is a Sony engine, right?
Decima's a Guerrilla Games engine.
Guerrilla Games, okay.
Guerrilla Games.
Yeah, but
Sony engine,
yeah, Guerrilla is under Sony now, so it's
so it's kind
again. So technically,
the point I'm trying to make is, like, if they could, parlay this to be a third party engine, which I think they are trying to do that. Sony's going to make money.
Yeah,
at the end of the day, these companies want to make money.
Again, like, this is not a new thing. Sony has owned an engine that has been used by other that has been used to develop other games for other consoles.
Yeah.
It's one of the crazy things too. It's like when I heard that Horizon is going to be on PC, and I'm like, shit, I feel like playing this again. Imagine this on my PC. Excuse me.
Yeah, like what would a game like? Hey, Carlos. I mean, theoretically, you missed out on playing Death Stranding. You could theoretically play on PC.
Oh, what do you think I'm waiting? I'm just waiting for that to get on PC. I'm like,
run that thing and, like, run on both those games. And
I'm telling you right now, I want to play that shit on PC, man. I can't say the game. I'm playing a specific game on PC right now. Let's just say this, Brian, you're gonna love this story. It's quick though. Going from 60 frames to 30 was fucking jarring, son. I was like, whoa. Shit. What that, like, okay, I was playing this game on PC. I can't name the game. I'm just gonna say it comes out on Tuesday and it's gonna rip and tear you apart. That's all. This is all you're gonna get from me. So I was playing that, and then I went to play Division with the fellas, and I was like, "What the fuck's wrong with the Division right now?" Oh, 30 frames. Oh man. Yeah. And Brian, I was being conservative. I could have bumped that shit up to 1,000 frames. Did you see that news story about that shit? Like, yo, you crazy? Does a monitor? Can a monitor even handle that shit? Like, can the human eye see that many frames a second? Doesn't even make any sense. That's a story for another day. By the way, if you guys don't know what we're talking about, I'm going to give it away. The game I'm talking about that runs at 1,000 frames a second is Doom, but I may or may not be playing that at the moment. But Brian, did you see that story that the Doom on PC can run at 1,000 frames a second?
Yeah, I thought that was ridiculous. Like why?
Because
why?
They can.
But there's no real point to it. It's like I don't think there's monitors that can go that fast anyway. So
it's not even the monitors. Can the human eye even see that at that point?
Isn't that like future proofing now? So when there is actual things that can come in and
you
do
mean
that?
When we evolve into robots and can actually perceive that type of shit?
Well, I mean, I think the thing about like vision is that we don't see in frames. Our vision is consistent. Like, in other words, there's not frames is how many flashes that we perceive.
Yeah,
as
that's
motion.
frames. And think about it, we don't see in resolution either.
We don't see in resolution either.
Anyway, we got off track there. Let's move on here, unless anybody else had any thoughts on the fanboys. By the way, we get to call people names, all right? Just throw that out there. We get to do it. We're Big Papa,
Big Papa Pump.
Yeah, my thoughts are okay.
Right, Brian.
It sounds good. Sounds great. Like, I always said that having games play is always a good thing. Like, it forces these companies not to just rely on games as like the thing that they do best. It's like, hey, innovate on the console side. So go for it. And plus, it means that the PC is the only place where you can play Horizon Zero Dawn and Gears of War 5.
Oh, shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yo.
Just saying.
That's why these guys are burning the helms down.
Brian and Halo.
And Halo Reach and Halo come out Evolved.
By the way, that was some bullshit that they pulled. That was some bullshit that they pulled. It's like they're giving you the games piece. Yeah, they're giving you games piecemeal.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Carlos goes in there. He's getting ready to play the first Halo. It's like, what the fuck is it? Only Reach.
Yeah.
Only Reach.
Oh, and by the way, Brian, trivia question.
Uh-oh.
Could you name the only place where you can play Breath of the Wild?
The Wii U?
Dirt.
Yeah.
By the way,
he's right.
I wanted to mention something. I kind of understand where people are coming from, kind of like Glorious War. It's like, because Well, look, I don't. This is not a glorious war example, but I've seen a lot of other people do this, and they talked a lot of shit to Microsoft when all of their games were getting to PC. So that was a lot of clout, for the PlayStation gamer, and making fun. It's like, oh, you're on a dead platform, and your games are getting ported over to PC because your console is, they can't handle, they can't sell all these games. But now that PlayStation's doing it, I mean, they did it with Horizon, Death Stranding, and what was that other one Manny mentioned? Detroit. It's like, yeah, it's like, I guess I can understand why people are seeing that and why this could potentially lead to PlayStation, possibly releasing maybe something day and date on PC. And
listen, man, I said this before. I'm gonna say it again. If I could play my PlayStation games on my PC and get trophies, I'm fucking switching to PC.
Well, that's exactly where I was going, because I'm like, if this doesn't affect Sony and them making games, I couldn't care less.
Yeah, my bad. Brian, you heard him, son?
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to get the brownie points. But yeah, it's like I'm not really loyal to a console maker. So if someone decides to stop making a console and I can just play everything on PC, then it's fine with me. For example, Tony was like, and everyone else here was distraught when the Dreamcast died.
Yeah, man.
But that's because there wasn't. Yeah, and it's like they couldn't play their games on PC like the next day or the Sega games. So it's like I can understand, like, now it's like, doesn't really matter if any of these consoles die as long as the games are still being made.
Yeah. Remember that the question Brett asked us, like, would you switch over to another system? Like, yeah, I'll switch over to PC because I can still play PlayStation games on it. you know?
But for me, I'm not gonna ever switch over to a PC because I don't upgrade my PC fast enough to have that sort of a decent experience. So number two, I don't want to be sitting in front of this thing longer than the hours I already sit in front of this thing.
Yeah, well, Manny, you know why I play on PC, right? Because I'm not sitting in front of my PC.
No, because you literally have your PC connected to your TV. It's right. You have the luxury of having.
Yeah,
your
exactly.
TV.
You don't, obviously. So your case makes sense. What happened? Go ahead.
Oh, I'm just saying though, but playing at a desk is great. Playing in a leather recliner in front of a 75-inch 4K TV, better.
Yeah. Or wait, Brett, butter, as we say on Throwdown, man.
That was a pretty subtle flex, Brett. I'll admit.
That was a mic drop, Carlos.
I'll be the judge of that.
No, man. You're not dropping no more mics anymore, man. Not until I say so. You've been banned from property for a week.
Just cancel me, bro.
You've been banned from mic was dropping.
Yo, by the way, Carlos, I'm thinking about that one. I could probably tell this story right real quick from New Orleans where you stared that one dude down his shit.
Yo, man, that
you
dude
can
got
stare me
scared.
down all you want. I ain't scared, motherfucker. I don't care how tall you are. I'll beat your ass.
That's because you were giving the Mexican wild eye. That's what
yeah.
Yo, you tell that story real quick. This shit is funny, and we could actually say it on air.
It's not much of a story. We're in Bourbon Street in New Orleans, all drunk and shit, and walking down, and like some dude bumps into me, like it was like I don't know, 5'7", 5'8", like skinny white dude, and I just fucking stare the shit out of him. I'm like, what the fuck, bro? and he got fucking, like, I swear, like, this dude was about to cry, and I'm like, I just had to like change my emotions. Like, don't worry, bro. And I went to fucking walk.
You made this dude cry by looking at it.
Like, because that dude, like, you can see, like, if a fight broke down between me and him, that dude's life would have been over, man.
Damn. Yeah, you guys don't mess with Carlos, man. All right. By the way, Glorious One wants me to read his comments, so I will do that. He goes, I have a PC already. I mostly play RTS and card games. I support gaming platforms that make single story driven games. That's why I boycott Valve for like 8 years. If Valve makes another game like Half-Life Alyx, I might support them again. Interesting. I mean, listen, you do what you're going to do with your own money, but I'm saying don't miss out on games just because you're trying to prove a point or whatever. That's kind of silly.
I mean, here's the thing. Like, you got to realize that, brand loyalty is something that's created by the people. there is no only a spare few companies actually are actually loyal to their own customers. You see companies making all kinds of crazy ass decisions and literally alienating all their whole audience because they're not looking for you. They already got you. They want to get everybody else, and that's when they fuck everybody over. That's why you get games like Resident Evil 6, and you get what is it, that stupid was it Diablo handheld game? Not the handheld game, the
mobile game, yeah.
the mobile game, because they're not looking, because they know that you're already as a loyal person. They know they got you already, so they don't need to worry about you. You're gonna buy it as long as they keep putting it out. They got you. And that's why they're always, whenever they start to look out into other pastures, as opposed to essentially letting the product do the talking and doing the things that fans would like, as well as expanding it further. They just want to, like, okay, we want those new people because they make us more money.
Yeah. Shit is crazy. All right, let's move on here to the next story. This one's kind of interesting. This one just came out today. So apparently some Naughty Dog employees want The Last of Us 2 to fail so they could prove a point about crunch and bad working conditions or some nonsense. I kind of don't understand why, like, how that would help their cause, you know?
I mean, the thing about it is it is appalling to hear that it takes long hours to make things. But you know what? That is the whole fucking industry. Everything is like that. Fucking comics, movies, all of that shit. Everybody's fucking killing themselves, but yet no, you motherfuckers out there are like, well, the games will come out on time. Everybody who works on these games are fucking stressed, killing themselves to do these jobs, putting themselves in the hospital because they're fucking losing their minds playing these goddamn games. But yet no, everybody's like, oh, it's not coming out on time. They didn't fix this. It's the truth. It's this is the reality. There's two ways you can fix this. You can literally throw a bunch more people on it, like the way they did with Mass Effect, and it still came out like shit.
Oh, Andromeda, that bullshit.
Yeah.
Oh man.
It's not there's no simple answer to this. And to be honest, those guys wanting that game to fail screws themselves over in a job.
Well, it's not only screws them; it screws everyone else that worked on the game.
Exactly. Yeah. All those hours that you put into the fucking game, whatever, because because of what your job was on that title, and then all of a sudden the game gets fails, and then you get fired. Fuck you.
Damn. Tell me how you really feel, bro.
No, I mean, because to be honest, it's like I've worked hard in the industry. I have pulled long hours on every single project that I have done. I don't want these things to fail. I want to be able to come back to work the next day. And just to say that these motherfuckers going out there saying, "Oh, hey, I want this game to fail." Listen, yes, it is good. It is good to let people know how much work goes into these games. But I don't for any of the things that I've worked on, even the things that didn't do so well. I don't want those things to fail because that means I am out of a job.
Can I mention something and let me know if I sound insensitive or ignorant?
Mm-hmm.
But if these Q&A crunch sort of things that people are working on, that's apparently like really inhumane when it comes to the hours that they work for, why can't these people just quit that job and get something else? And that's why I'm saying it's going to sound insensitive, because it's going to be like, oh, well, like, it's not easy for everyone to get a job. But my guess is a lot of people don't like certain jobs, like they can easily get a job at, at a fast food place, or, like there's jobs available, but they choose a Q&A job. Is it because of the pay, or is it because, so it's like, If the working conditions are so inhumane where you think you want everything to fail, why are you still working on it?
That's a good question. Why wouldn't you leave the job and try to find something else?
Because the Q&A job is not something prestigious.
No.
It's not like oh, you quit a Q&A job and you can't work anywhere else. Like, you can work in other places. You can apply several other places.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like, yeah, it's not a big deal. And to be honest, like, do most aren't Q&A jobs kind of like they pull you in and then they kick you, then they essentially let you go?
Yeah,
Right?
they do.
They're
That's
kind of
not-
contracted jobs.
Yeah,
They're contract
yeah.
jobs. It's like having an in-house freelancer.
Mhm.
I don't know how. I mean, like, you know, what it's like. Okay, what you already got paid then, right? And then they kicked you out the door.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know. I mean, to be honest, I don't think a guy like a person who has essentially a in and out job should be complaining about that. Seriously.
Yeah,
But I mean-
here's a quote from one of the employees, and obviously they don't want to be named.
Mhm.
You feel obligated to be there later because everyone else is there later. If an animation needed to be put in and you weren't there to help the animator, you're not blocking the animator, and they may give you grief. It may not be spoken. It may just be a look like, man, you totally screwed me last night.
That's at every job, man.
Yeah.
That's at every fucking job.
Yeah, that's
Your
that's
boss is
my-
still there, and you look in the office, and he waves at you. Do you fucking leave?
No.
Yeah, I mean, shit. I work extra hours, but like if for example, I have a pretty good job, and they make me work extra hours. You guys know, like sometimes during the
Yeah.
show I get called up and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But if I ever feel like I'm losing my livelihood because of it, and I feel like the way that they're treating me is to a point where I feel nothing but malice towards a company, then why should I keep working there?
Yeah, no, everything you say I agree with, because I'm trying not to be insensitive either, but that's my general feeling on it. It's like, listen, bro, if you really don't like that job, find another one. You know, listen, games. It's okay because I understand the whole like call for like, hey, we got to unionize and all this other stuff, but I'm like, okay, if you do that, that's great. Realize that your game's going to take a lot longer to come out. Is that what you want? You know, that's just something to consider. Like the people who say this, I don't really think they understand that to make a quality game, and I'm going to sound like a fanboy, but I don't care. To make a quality game on the level of a Naughty Dog game, you need to put in a lot of fucking time. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's right or wrong or whatever. I'm not trying to pass judgment. I'm just saying the way it is. If you want that kind of quality, you got to put in hours. That's how any art goes. Any art goes like that. Whether it's music or like, you know, drawings or whatever. You want to make something that's really a masterpiece. You can't just shit it out. You need to put in work. So it makes sense that these guys are doing crunch time and stuff. And it does suck that you may feel that you're overworking, but at the same time, you can find another job if you don't like that, you know, because like Carlos said, you don't want to work at a place where you feel your soul is being drained. That's fucked up. You don't want that. Leave. No one's keeping you. You're not a slave, you know?
Exactly. And I feel like a lot of the cases, a lot of these guys could just walk away from it or try to get themselves into a better situation. You don't need to put yourself through that sort of stuff if you don't feel that you deserve it. You know, just put in you can put in that your little hour, you know, your final day, and then just move on. Look for another job. You know, again, it's sad because there is no simple answer to this. There's no like, hey, we can just close this down and just do this. Like we talk about unions, but even unions can be, yes, everybody has their say in a situation. But as you talk about unions, you also talk about the idea of that maybe a company may not want to do any sort of union, and maybe they want to just outsource the whole thing to China or some other crazy country, that they can get the same quality work for 10 times cheaper. So there's no easy.
Well, I don't know
answer.
about the same quality work, but they'll get the same amount of work.
Here's the thing, like, you know, you can like, you know, like a lot of games, you know, one thing a lot of companies don't talk about is the fact that there are hundreds of companies on this planet that literally just make assets.
Yeah.
Make boxes, cars, all kinds of different things. And they just buy these things off of those people or have them assist them in sort of in the development. They're probably getting those things for cheap.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Goose sent. This is actually a good point. You know, because again, we try to be fair here. Some people have kids. Some people have sick family members, and they depend on health insurance. Just food for thought. Yeah. So in some cases, obviously, you can't just up and leave your job because you got responsibilities. But at the same time, again, being fair. If you don't like your current job, start looking for something else.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to quit.
Don't quit. We're not advocating that. Don't just up and quit. Don't do that. Look, find someplace that's viable first, and then you could move. You know.
Exactly, and also, like these QA jobs, like I doubt a lot of them even provide benefits to
By the way,
their
do we know this
employers.
is a QA job?
That's what I thought.
Well, we don't know that because the way
Yeah, well, okay.
the way that snippet said, it sounded like they're animators or something. You know?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we don't want to assume, but we don't even want to assume that either. We just know they're developers.
I mean, the one other thing to know about the industry, like in gaming, is that they always kind of bump up their staff and then they let people go. They have their key staff, which are the main guys that handle all, their main people, and then they hire on a bunch of other people to carry on the workload. Any company making any sort of entertainment usually does this stuff.
Yeah, and for some of those contractors, they look forward to doing some of those crunch because that's extra money, especially if they know they only have a 3-month window. They're like, shit, I'm going to try to make as much money as I can because I know this is a short-term gig.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and also there's another aspect to it, and it's if even these people get paid overtime for all of the extra hours they work, because not everyone gets paid overtime.
Yeah, and I think in the game industry they actually do get paid a sort of overtime or paid some sort of crunch time payment.
Yeah, I believe they do.
So I mean, to be like, the hours.
Sony has money, all right. Unlike what some Xbox say,
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure that they're probably getting some, something for the work that they do, for the hours that they're doing it. They can't just be working people on salary and just killing them. But then again, I don't know exactly fully how this sort of thing works. When I worked in animation here in animation here on the East Coast, most of the jobs I was working salary, and I did work extra hours on these things, and I didn't get any additional pay. So, don't know. But then again, I was. Oh, go ahead.
But not only that, sometimes it's unavoidable. Let's say, and this has happened before, where you're part of a team of people, and then some people leave. And it was like, shit, they left, and we still have deadlines. We still have things we have to get done. What do? You just say, fuck, I got to leave? You're still part of that team, and you understand the situation. It's out of your control. It's not the boss trying to be mean to you. It's that you're shorthanded right now, and the work needs to get done. What do you do?
Yeah, again, when I go back to some of the teams that I've worked on, we've had tiny teams, and we've only had a few people working on them. So, and sometimes people leave, or sometimes, one situation they literally let go of all the main, a lot of the main people that worked on a show. So who picks up the slack? That means that some people people have to do it because it's there. So, again. The problem with this situation is there's no easy answer for it.
Yeah, there
isn't.
isn't.
To be honest, it's not going to be an answer that people are going to like. Not everyone's going to like.
Wait, is this the Jonathan Cooper? Is this the person that mentioned this about the whole Naughty Dog situation? Because I can read his Twitter post. Oh, damn, it's pretty long.
Go ahead. I mean, just read some select shit, I guess.
Okay. When I left Naughty Dog late last year, they threatened to withhold my final paycheck until I signed additional paperwork stating I wouldn't share their production practices. They finally relented, and I assured them that it was most likely illegal. The truth is, I have no awful crunch tale. The story animators, as we were known, were averaging 46 hours a week when I left, and I personally never went over 55. The story team is super organized, and we reacted to what was thrown at us. That's not to say others weren't suffering. So apparently the story animator weren't the crunch guys.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know who the people that were
I definitely think that the crunch people are probably a lot of the additional animations and things that needed to be done in the game, because it's a bunch of different people that are handling different departments. There's the story people that essentially just handle the cinematics. Then there's the in-game animators that do all that stuff. There's lots of cleanup that motion capture cleanup that needs to be done. So it's a lot of things that there's different departments that handle these sorts of things.
Yeah, but like you were saying, man, there's no easy answer for this.
There's no easy answer to this thing. Like there's pros and cons to anything. So like let's say that Naughty Dog did enact a union, which a lot of people have been talking about unions, but apparently not a lot of studios have been doing. Like Tim Schafer's company, he's been talking about unions for a while now, but he hasn't really enacted any sort of union into his company as of yet.
You know, they have like 5 people in there working for them.
There's probably about 100 people that work at Double Fine, right?
Well, I don't know how many people they got there.
They're not a big studio. 50, 100 people, I would say, right?
I don't know. I don't want to make a guess on that. But you're right. They're definitely a small. But yeah, again, it's like it's a give and take. It's like okay, you could either have your games come out at a decent amount of time and have the developers do crunch time, or have the games take like 10 years, but the developers are fine. You know what I'm saying? It's like
and also it's also important to mention that it's good to criticize these companies if they are doing these practices.
Mm-hmm.
Got to hold them to the fire.
Yeah,
but
man.
Again, to be honest, if I put all those hours into a game, I would say fuck you to anybody who would say who worked at that place and said I want this game to fail. Fuck you, because that's literally my work going down the drains. I don't want my fucking work to go down the drains on anything that I did.
The funny thing is that's their work going down the drain too.
Yeah, well, apparently they don't give a shit about the work that they did.
Yeah,
because if they're willing to just piss it down down the drains, but to me, I mean, maybe it's me. I have pride in the work that I do and the work that I have done, even for projects that were not that great. I still have pride that the fact that we managed to pull off the thing that we were able to do. So I don't want to see these things fail, even if they do.
Yeah. All right, man. Let's move on here to the next story. Hey, Chris, you're gonna like this one. Reggie Fils-Aime has joined GameStop's board of directors.
Oh yeah.
I'll let you lead this one, man. Go ahead.
That's like Jack getting off the floating door and climbing back on the Titanic. Maybe he could save the ship there. I mean, I understand. Like for him, maybe he's got an itch to scratch still. It's not. He loses nothing, right? They probably paid him a ton to show up. They think maybe he has the golden touch because he was at Nintendo. I don't know, but I think it's ridiculous. Like even if there's money to be made there, they are a sinking ship, man. There's no way to pull that company out of the hole they dug themselves in. They can't even hold on to a CEO. Now, he's not a CEO. He's just on a board with multiple people. I don't know how big GameStop's board is, but he cannot single-handedly or unilaterally make decisions there. He's not the CEO, and even a CEO has to, if the board doesn't approve what they do, they could kick them out. So I'm not understanding what they gained from this, other than his sage wisdom.
I think it's more of a media thing. I think they're trying to earn people's, because of what his name is. I think they're trying to earn something back. I don't think it's going to affect their policies, like you said, but I think they're trying to get a familiar name on there, like, oh, the guy who once did things with Nintendo. Maybe him on there also could his name could also probably smooth some things over between the actual game industry and GameStop itself and its practices, which a lot of the game industry doesn't like. Selling used games and not getting any sort of residuals off of the resale.
Yeah, but physical games not going to stay with GameStop at this point. Mm-hmm. Everything is moving towards digital. They have to start selling toys and tchotchkes and clothes
that's what they've become, essentially a toy store, because most of the time people are a lot. What's happening now is a lot of people are buying their games digitally, and the only time you ever go, and the only time a lot of people ever go to a GameStop is just to get their exclusive, and you can still get that thing online, right?
Yeah. So I think it's not a foolish move for him. For them, I mean, it's like if I stand next to this ugly person, I'll look better by comparison or something like that. It's like, oh, if we have Reggie in here, it won't look so fucking rancid and awful. Like, but you do, it just drags him down. I don't think it elevates them at all. Like, they're still shit. Like everybody who has their opinion about GameStop, who has worked there, who has shopped there and gotten screwed over, those people are not going to change their mind because Reggie's there. Like, and I've seen some people say, "Oh, Reggie's going to save GameStop." I'm like, no, he isn't.
Nah, no, he ain't
No,
saving
well,
shit.
There's nothing he can do for them.
I don't think he's going to. Yeah, again, you said it yourself. He's not really in a decision-making sort of position. I think it. To be honest, I think it's a placebo position just to use his name.
Sure. I mean, this is like, just putting a suit on a corpse. It's just still dead. It just looks nicer for the wake.
Yeah, it just looks nicer for the wake. That's a good one.
Yo, Miss Razor says that his friend in Oklahoma loves working for GameStop. Yeah, well, maybe dudes in Oklahoma like GameStop, but in other places, we don't like them.
Also, I think the thing about it is also depends on the what the store actually does too. Like, what are the internal politics within the store? And I think a lot of the stores that we've had experiences at, they've really just had really shitty internal policies within them. Again, I mean, I don't know how many times that GameStop has changed management, but a lot of times, a lot of those stores the one that that me and Tony used to go to, that one used to have so many changes of management. It didn't even, there was a bunch of people that actually did give a care about the store and what it looked like, but in the end, it looked like a piece of shit. Whoever was running the place didn't give a shit enough to make a place that looked nice anymore.
Yeah. By the way, Goose, that's our general sentiment here. He says, I never want people to lose their jobs, but fuck GameStop. Yeah.
It sucks. But if you looked at all their policies within their own employees and how they get their money and what they have to do to make that money, it's not cool. It was like, okay, you have to tell people you have to make a certain amount of this, you have to do this sort of thing, you have to, it's not. I think a lot of that stuff. There really needs to. It's kind of like what needs to happen to the medical program in the United States. They need to just break the shit down and then rebuild it again. And that's what has to happen at GameStop. They really need to get rid of all those old farts that are at the top over there and get some people that actually can fucking think to do those jobs.
GameStop is dumb.
So you don't think he's going to rebrand it? You don't see them changing it?
He's not in a position to do that.
He's still a voice though, and I think that's the whole thing.
He is a voice, but the thing is that again, he can make a decision, and then the big guys upstairs will be like, nah, he's just talking crazy.
They're desperate.
I think it's more of a name recognition thing than an actual real decision making situation. Yeah, he'd probably be like, hey, you could do this, and they'd be like, all right, maybe we'll try it. Nah, it doesn't work. Fuck it.
and he's a smart one. They probably offered him that CEO job and he didn't take it.
Yeah,
because he doesn't want their failures hanging over him. He doesn't want it. How would you have your career like? You capped it at Nintendo and then go to GameStop, You don't want that.
Yeah, he probably just said, they just said, hey, we want to give you the CEO position. He's like, I've done that already. I'll just be advisory panel. Pay me some money to sit there and I'll give you some decent ideas.
Yeah. Rich, what's your thoughts on Reggie Fils-Aime and GameStop, man? You think he's going to save the company?
I all I have to say is I definitely wish Reggie well. I wish GameStop well, even though I have not had the most positive experience with GameStop. But I couldn't stop laughing when I saw that news because it's so random to hear this is where he's at now. But obviously, I think as y'all already said, just, I guess, using this to further promote himself. There is no expectations, at least not from, I don't think, the public, that he is going to actually, be successful. At least I don't think. But hey, if this is a way for him to get some more money for himself, then more power to him.
Yeah. No, I think the analogy, the Titanic analogy is the perfect one. It's like, yo, this shit's already sinking, bro. And it's not like, they're about to hit the iceberg. This shit's already cracked in half,
Yeah,
it's like,
man.
Like you said, fucking, Jack is trying to climb back to this shit,
But,
oh, man.
put on my tinfoil hat for a minute.
Oh, boy.
Uh-oh.
with these high-level CEOs, they tend to move around like fucking hermit crabs. And one of the things that I get so frustrated about is when they do drive a company into the ground, man, they bail with golden parachutes. Like, what if Reggie's just like, sure, I'll step on board to grab that golden parachute, bail on the company in 2 years when it crashes and burns?
Well, that's weird because he doesn't need it.
He doesn't
Doesn't need to do that. He already got like a nice exit package from Nintendo.
This is why I think he sees it as a challenge. I really think he wants to do something. He wants to prove, because who knows? Remember, we all talked about when Nintendo let him go. Well, we think they let him go and showing him the window is that he was old and they figured they needed a younger new face. So maybe this is his way of saying, you know what? I turned your shit around. I turned Pizza Hut shit around, and I'll turn these bitches around.
Well, why didn't he take the CEO job then? They don't
because he doesn't want to work full time. He gets paid probably just as much, and he doesn't have to do all the work.
But then he doesn't have
the
the influence to turn shit around.
Yeah,
we'll see. We'll see. I think he'll do something.
But if he's not CEO, he's not going to do much. I think.
I mean, you have all. He's surrounded by the people who drove GameStop into the ground. You got the people who hit the iceberg, and they're still sitting there. And then so he joins them and goes, "Hey guys, I have great ideas." Right? What you think these people are going to listen to them? They're full of themselves.
Yeah,
they're already ruined.
They're already doing it. Have you seen the redesign? They're not making money from that redesign, but they did it.
But they have too many failures.
Shit is done.
It's done. Yeah.
It's like that's not where the industry's going, man. Digital's where shit's going.
I think the thing about it is that like they have the worst thing about all of this is that the fact that they're the only game in town. They're the only video game store, like chain video game store out there that does this stuff.
Yeah,
after they're gone, that's it.
Yeah, but the thing is, you can still buy games physical.
You can still buy games physical, but again, I personally like to go to a store. I like going to a place and
go to Best Buy.
But
they got games at Best Buy.
They got games at Best Buy, but they're not. That's not a game store. But
again, you want to? Okay, so your game store, you specifically want a game store. Gotcha.
Yeah, I like going to a game store. I mean, to be honest, like like a lot of fond memories, and even from the days when there weren't like branded game stores.
Oh yeah, we had a lot of fun
talking to those guys. I mean, again, we talk about our boys who used to work at the GameStop on 71st and Continental Avenue. Those guys were cool.
Yeah, no, don't get me wrong. We obviously have those great memories and stuff, but that's not happening anymore. That's over. Those days are done. I
think there is. Here's the thing. I do think there is a place for a video game store. I just think it cannot be a fucking only one.
I was just about to say. You know what I think is going to happen? I think I said this on the show. I think video games are going to go the way of vinyl, right? Where basically there's going to be specialty stores that sell collector's editions or whatever. So maybe we're going to get those mom and shop pops back eventually.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, that's the one thing I do. I mean, there, not so much in New York, but there are quite a bit of mom and pop stores outside of New York. Like in New Jersey, there's a lot of really great ones. In fact, there's a really great documentary about video game stores. I think it's on Vimeo or something like that, where they literally went to all the really big video game stores around the country and talked to them about the industry and everything.
Yeah, no. So I think I'm predicting that we're gonna see mom and pop shops come back because they're gonna sell novelties basically, which are not novelties in this case being physical video games. Again, you can't say that can't happen. It happened to vinyl. Vinyl came back. People buy them. Who the fuck has a record player? But people buy
a lot of people have record players, but
it was before Amazon though.
Oh, that's right. Actually, you know what? You're right. They do make new record players now, which is insane.
They make new record players and they make new vinyls or reprint old ones.
Yeah, Miss Racer, you don't have 3 record players. Get the fuck out of here, man. You'll come in here lying. I don't know, but this dude could be older than me, man.
I mean, he could. I mean, to be honest,
Miss Racer, you crazy, bro.
A lot of people that are into heavy metal also like vinyls, and also DJs and hip hop people love fucking vinyl, the sound of vinyl. So there's a market out there.
Oh yeah, for sure. And there's always going to be a market for physical video games because these people want to say, oh, there's it's over
for anything physical.
Yeah, there's always going to be like granted, it's probably like 95% of sales are going to be fucking digital in the future, but there's always going to be a market for that shit. Why do you think companies like Limited Run Games do so well? You know?
Yeah, they continue to put out really cool titles and really like essentially those awesome special editions you'd like to see for games that probably don't even deserve it, but they still get them.
Like Night Trap.
You know? Night Trap, yep. Fucking, what was it? A Double Switch got one. A pretty nice packaging. So they're doing it.
Definitely a market for that. All right, and moving on to the final story. This one is going to make Brian happy. Oh. So, Brian, check this out. After Cyberpunk 2077 comes out, all that jazz, CD Projekt Red announced they are going to start working on the new Witcher game.
Does that mean they're going to throw a coin at the Witcher?
Yes, they're going to throw a coin at the new Witcher game. So, Brian, what are your thoughts on that, man?
Sounds good. They did mention that they finished with Geralt's story, so it seems like it'll be another game in the same universe. So I'm hoping for a game based around Ciri, since I liked how she played around, and why the hell not? So yeah, it sounds great. Like more Witcher games, always great. You know? Let's see what they do this time. Like hopefully they can add some more stuff to it, refine the combat, as some people didn't like the combat.
Yeah, Miss Razor. He just said my name. He said Tony. Wait, he's asking me a question. Why does Adam look even more emo Kylo Ren tonight? He does?
Let's see.
Does Adam look more emo tonight, people? You be the judge.
Well, Adam is a kind of underlit, so yeah.
Oh, okay, that's why. Adam's actually listening to Typo Negative right now.
He's like, it was a Halloween.
R.I.P. Pete Steele, miss you every day.
Pete Steele used to live in Adam's neighborhood. We all the time driving around.
It was for Run 2.
Shit, playing the fucking bass. Boom, 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 boom.
Yo, we're gonna just start doing Typo songs, man. All right, man. So we're gonna wrap it up. So, Rich, man, I want to thank you for being on tonight, man. You know, having fun with us. Please tell people where they can find you and plug all your stuff, man.
Yes, you could find me on the Coalition. I would like to thank Tony and all of you guys for having me back on the show. As I mentioned earlier, co-op is returning very soon. Stay tuned for that. We are going to make an announcement about that. And I want to give a quick shout out to Mr. Anthony Nash because he actually just posted up his review of MLB The Show 20. So nice. That game is also out right now if you purchased it digitally, ahead of time. So feel free to check out the review. Let us know what you think, and I will be talking to you all again very soon.
Is that game quick thing? Is that the one that's going to be multi-platform?
No, that's next year.
Oh no, that's next year. Yeah,
that's next year. And also, go ahead.
MLB The Show is the only way you can enjoy baseball this year.
All right, Chris.
Did you hear about the 2K20?
Oh my!
The 2K20 mode is broken.
Wait, what do you mean it's broken?
The 2K20, the season mode, because it goes based off of the NBA season and it throws the matches up.
Oh, NBA 2K20.
But it can't, 2K, yeah, the NBA 2K. But it can't do it now because there's no games.
Wow.
Oh shit.
Yeah, no, but Chris is right. If you want baseball this year, get MLB The Show and check out the review over the Coalition, man. Fucking crazy. Oh, and also, by the way, people, we have a contest going on. I'm going to be giving away a free Logitech G915 keyboard. So if you want to win this bad boy, you can go over to our Twitter right now at Throwdown Show and check out the question. It's already posted. The question is simply this: what is the most anticipated game that you have for 2020? Reply. We're going to take all the names and stuff, and we're going to answer them next week on next Thursday's show. We're going to give, because we're also going to do a video. We want as many people participating as possible. The rules are pretty simple. Answer. Make sure you follow us right here on Twitch. Follow us on Twitter, and you don't worry about YouTube. Those are our main places, and everything is at Throwdown Show, and you'll have a chance to win this. And we're gonna toss in some extra stuff in here too. Maybe I'll toss in a 8-bit Do controller. Who knows, man? We got goodies to give away, man. Yeah. That's gonna do it for us, man. So thank you for watching and listening. Subscribe to Throwdown on SoundCloud, iTunes, and YouTube. Follow us on Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook at Throwdown Show. Links are located in the description below. Once again, our show is Tony Polanco, and tonight is joined by Emilio Lopez.
See you later, guys, and don't feel too bad about 2020. 2021 will be even better.
Yeah, right. If we're not all dead. Chris Seeley.
Hey, take care, everyone.
Carlos Romero.
Don't worry, guys. We're just being socially conditioned to be scared of this virus.
Oh, shit. Shout out to Glorious War, man. Adam Vale.
Just wash your hands, play some Division, play some free Call of Duty, and be happy. Sucker free Sunday, bitches. What?
Lucha Underground, baby.
This
Why you gotta go there? You just fucked it up.
The Butterground, man.
I miss Lucha Underground.
Oh, by the way, real quick.
What up?
Yo, man. Call of Duty Warzone?
Yo,
you're the killer machine, man.
By the way,
Carlos is the killer machine.
It finally happened. They made a battle royale game that I like, and it's Call of Duty. Could you imagine if I told this shit to Tony 10 years ago? Holy shit.
He'd be like, yo, man.
10 years ago. Tell you Tony from 48 hours ago.
Tony from years ago will be like, motherfucker, you sold out. You fucking PlayStation fanboy. Playing
have an iPad?
Call of Duty games with a fucking iPad. You failed me.
Yeah. Hey, 10 years ago, I was a PlayStation fan. I was actually a pony back 10 years ago, you know? But of course, I would ask, what the fuck is Battle Royale?
That is true.
Wasn't that an anime? Wasn't that
the movie? It was that Japanese.
I didn't even know it was a movie until the video game genre popped up. Anyway.
Was it at 2000, I think?
Yeah, who knows? Anyway, Brett Murdoch.
Calling sick with coronavirus. Stay home and play video games.
Yes. Brian Manjoma.
I like how people are recommending that we self-isolate, so we stay inside, order food, and stay away from other people. Like, that's what we've been doing for years.
Yeah,
and it was frowned upon.
That's what we, yeah. Now it's like encouraged and shit. And of course, Mr. Richard Bailey Jr.
Stay safe, wash your hands, and if somebody near you coughs, run far, far away.
Oh, man. Yo, all right, if we survive, we'll see you on Sunday. And by the way, Carlos almost forgot to mention.
Excuse me?
All right, so Sunday, we're going to be having our AMA special, people, for Throw Down Your Questions. So the rules for that are a little bit different than usual. You're going to ask us 3 questions, and it could be about whatever you want. It doesn't have to be about video games, whatever you want. So get creative, but don't go too fucking crazy, or we're coming after you, and I'm going to cough on you, man.
Oh,
so keep it simple, people.
Too soon, Tony, too soon.
Yeah, anyway, so yeah, AMA special, episode 275, Sunday. Ask us questions in the Discord. It's going to be crazy, man. All right.
Yeah, make sure to leave them right. If you guys are listening and you're on Discord, make sure to leave them right now, because you'll forget. When it comes to Sunday, it's
you may not survive, bro. You better leave them now.
Yeah, if you guys want your your questions answered, ask them right now, man. Or forever hold your peace.
Yo, this shit is getting dark right now, bro. Anyway, we'll see you on Sunday, man. AMA coming later.
This is
later.
Beat me to it.
Peace.
Motherfucker.